Hi, Kristi. So how are you? I saw your video of Gina.
Yeah, good. Yeah, she's doing really well. I had it in my head when I first got her that I'd be riding her by now, but so there's always that little, gremlin that says, you should be doing better than that by now. But I'm really happy with her. She's super connected to me. She seeks me out. It's really a special feeling from her that she just, I've gotten to play with lots of different kinds of horses all over the world, and it's unfortunate when you meet one that's been through a bad deal. And Gina had a bad deal, but the people who gave her a bad deal didn't mean to. They tried their best. It wasn't that she was with abusive people. She just
They were too much
they
for
didn't know
her.
yeah, they just didn't know what to do with her. She's extremely frightened. And she'd been a brood mare until she was like 8 or 9, and so hadn't had a lot of training until then. And then they just tried to ride her, I think, like an 8 or 9 year old horse, and she's really crazy RBE, like really super scared of everything and explosive. And lots of folks got bucked off quite a few times, and so she got some bad habits, learning that if I get scared, the best thing to do is to freak out. And I'll be able to get away or out of the situation if I just buck the rider off and run away. So yeah, it's been a long, slow process, but we're finally starting to really connect. She's starting to really get the idea that I care about what she thinks and whether or not she's comfortable and confident, and that she doesn't have to do anything that she doesn't feel ready to do. Like, I'm constantly telling her, you don't have to go, don't go.
Right,
Stop. Don't go.
Right.
But yeah, no, she's doing really, really good. We're doing lots of fun stuff on the ground, and I feel confident now that I have a fence around my arena again. That that's really helping her confidence in the arena. So I think I might be able to get back to some small 20-meter circle rides again that I was doing late in the year last year. So we'll see. I'll take it easy because she's 17 two hands, and could jump the moon from a standstill. So I'm not about to make any rash decisions when it comes to getting on her. So we'll just keep taking our time.
Right. She, I have an RBE. I think she's an RBE, and she does that too. When things get high pressure, she explodes, pulls back, and does all that stuff. But I'm just like, that's all. It's all good. We'll just keep trying, right? And
Yeah.
I think she learned that if she exploded, the pressure would come off. So.
Yes. Yeah. Gina learned that too, that if she got scared, that meant that she got a pass on yielding. So that's been the biggest thing, is like, I understand you're afraid, darling, but you still have to yield. Like, I'll set it up better next time, and you don't have to yield to the goal, just towards the goal. You don't have to do the thing, just yield a little bit in that direction, and I'll back off. Like, she's a lot of it's been her learning to trust that if she yields, that I'll back off versus asking her for more. So she's getting there. I think that's the biggest thing with right brain extroverts, or tense movers is what I'll say now. Is that they learn to push into, and then they get relief from pressure by pushing. Right. And it's usually because it takes the human by surprise. So maybe you put a feel on the halter and they pull back and you don't know what to do, so you release. So then they get relief from pressure by pulling back. And yeah, it's been quite a process to help her figure out that yielding is the answer.
Have you ever had a RBE?
No, she's my first. I thought Vanna was my Grula mare when I first started playing with her. I thought she was RBE, but it just was a lack of experience. She's pretty left brain. She's all sassy now. I don't know. Maybe I make them that way. Like, they come to me scared, and I turn them into sassy mares. I don't know if that's the case or not, but Vanna's pretty left brain these days. She doesn't spook her. Even today, I rode her this afternoon, and there was a situation where I was riding around in my woods and the other horses were following us around, and Maxie actually got a little wild hair up her butt and took off just because she can, like, it's in our pasture. It's not, she's not confined. She can do whatever she wants. So she took off, just kicking up her heels, feeling good. And I thought, uh-oh, Like, I've not put her in this position yet before. Like, are you going to stay with me? Or are you going to try real hard to go with her?
What'd she do?
And I checked her. She did great. I checked her like, hey, you got to stay here with me. And she went, okay. I'm like, oh my God, I love you so much. Thank you. I'm too young to die. No, it was good.
Hey, Lily, I know you're there. I know you have your mic off, but hello. I hope you're doing well. Okay, so it's 3:05. I guess we can go ahead and begin, and I'll just admit people if they come in a little bit late.
Sounds good.
So
That sounds good.
Everybody's curious about happy horse, happy life.
Sure. You want me to just describe it, or do you have questions specifically, or?
No, tell us a little bit. How is it different than Parelli? Sure.
Yeah. You know, it's very deliberately different. You know, when all of this started to happen, that Linda knew that she was going to have the freedom to do it her way with the background and giving credit where credit is due, but you know, not having to adhere to anybody else's ideas. You know, you can't help but to be different. And for me, the biggest difference is that Parelli is very focused on the task, and it's really good, a really great system for helping us to be progressive and have things to work on, right? Have a goal in mind, like the auditions and things like that are really goal orientated, where Linda's program is more focused on how to develop qualities in the partnership. So it's not going to be the greatest program for people who don't already have a goal. So if you're not already, you know, working towards, say, a sport or a discipline or a behavior, or for me, it's just trail riding. Like, that's my thing. Like, what can I do to create a great trail horse? That's my goal. The system that I'm going to use to achieve that is going to be Linda's system, but it's, you know, it's more focused on developing qualities rather than achieving tasks. So I think that's the biggest difference. Actually, I feel like if everyone could just learn to play nicely, that the two would complement each other really, really well. I think that it would be a great combo, but it wouldn't, I think Linda's program would do that for any sort of, Pirelli's almost become its own discipline, right? It's the thing you do versus like a training method or whatever. And so whether your discipline is Pirelli, or it's jumping or dressage or trail riding or cutting or, whatever floats your boat, Linda's program is a method to help us develop horses that have the qualities necessary for those things. So, like the first 3 modules are about developing connection, relaxation, and responsiveness versus, the 4 savvies or a set of tasks or anything like that. It's there are tasks, you got to do something, right? But the outcome for the tasks is to develop those qualities, and each module is going to build on that. So instead of working towards, a checklist, it'll be, is your horse more connected? Is your horse more relaxed? Is your horse more responsive? That's the first 3. There's 10 altogether. But
what's the first module?
Connection. So the first 3 modules that have been released are the core behaviors. So without those 3 things working for you, everything else you get up to is either going to be poor quality or it'll be limited. So those first 3 modules are, sort of interchangeable. You don't necessarily need to do them in order. Like I would pick whichever one of those 3 things you feel is missing the most in your partnership and develop that until all 3 of them are pretty solid. And then the rest of the modules will then be more efficient if you went through them sequentially. So after the first 3, then module number 4 is confidence, impulsion, and bending. And so that's the first 6 modules. And most of us, like for me, like for trail riding, for the most part, that's really all you need. Those first 6 modules are going to develop the qualities that if you want to go trail riding or compete locally, at whatever discipline you have, you'd probably be able to pass your level 3 kind of situation. Mm-hmm. But, if you're keen then to add more performance level stuff, right? Excuse me while I cheat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not all out yet, so my brain hasn't attached to them yet. But the last layer is the performance layer. So if you know, even if it's just for yourself, like I'll still go through all 10 modules, not because I really intend to compete. I just don't have a passion for it. It seems like a lot of work for very little fun, in my opinion. Like, even if you take like a trail competition class or whatever, the class lasts 2 or 3 minutes and you spend days like bathing and cleaning tack and braiding. You got to wear certain clothes and stuff like that. That's just really not my gig. But I do want to experience high performance behaviors with my horses, just because I think it feels great. Like, you know, every time you get, you know, an advanced maneuver, the power and fun, you know, just for fun, I'll do it. So the last tier then is harmony, agility, purpose, and power. So, you know, all of those, the last, outside of the core behaviors, those will build one on, you know, each one on the one before it. So it'll be more sequential. But, and then I feel like too, the first 3 modules are so simple. You know, we've spent a lot of years, you know, trying to reinvent the wheel. And, you know, Linda's been a big part of that for Parelli, and, you know, she's just accumulated 30 years of, you know, what does it take to teach someone to be excellent with horses? And this is her, you know, version of that. And the first 3 modules, for me, you know, she put them out and we got to see them first, the instructors did. And the assignment was, you know, go do it, you know. And honestly, even like with Maxie, he's my levels horse, very advanced horse, knows a lot of fun, fancy stuff to do. It's making huge differences in our relationship. So I'm excited. I know that, you know, it's a big investment, and, you know, a lot of people are hesitant to, you know, try it before it's all released. And I totally get it. Like, you know, it'll probably be next year before, you know, all 10 modules are released. I do believe module 4 is due to be released very soon, like this month. It'll be in July for sure. They're finishing up some filming. But, you know, I like how it's laid out. It's, you know, videos, short and to the point videos versus, you know, like a lot of the stuff we've seen before has been like hours and hours of video that can be a little hard for me anyway to sit through. And then the videos are supported by text. You know, Linda's a brilliant writer, and she's written every word on the Happy Horse program. And then of course, you know, diagrams and charts and things like that, because that's how Linda rolls. But you know, I think it's really well laid out. It's easy to follow. And you know, then you've got 30 of us, or I think 28 instructors now. So we're all trying to do our best to get up to speed so that we can support people too.
Now, for someone that doesn't want to invest in the program, can they join your program? I know you have Sidekick, some other things that you offer. How will that, how are the two integrated, or can you just not be a Happy Horse, Happy Life student and be on board with you?
Yes, I don't require you to be a Happy Horse student. And that's actually one of the things I really like about Linda's program too, is that the language is universal. Instead of having to, you know, learn a whole new set of jargon, it's pretty universal things like retreat and bend and hindquarters, and, you know, nothing that every horse owner isn't going to already know. And so I'm not doing Sidekicks right now. Sidekicks is the 4-week course that I run. And, you know, for me as an instructor, my joy comes when I can actually, you know, participate in progress, where like progress is actually happening and I get to watch it. So for me, I'm really just looking for more long-term relationships. And a lot of times with the shorter online courses, it's hard to have like real personal, intimate, you know, regular interaction. So I'm really not feeling it. I'm not feeling the sidekicks anymore. What I'm really, really invested in right now is my internet interns. And, that's a program that's, I would like to require a commitment. I'm going to change that next year, but for right now, I require a commitment. So from whenever you sign up, you got to give me until at least the end of the year to help you. Otherwise, you just get the tire kickers, and then they poo-poo it and they didn't give you a chance to like help them. Oftentimes the first month is just us getting to know each other, right? And for
What's
somebody
the program?
to get,
Tell me a little bit
right,
about that.
Sure. So Internet Interns is when you sign up, you get first of all, you get unlimited email access to me, and also accountability from me. So if I haven't heard from you in like a week or so, I keep track of that. Like I have a notebook here with everybody's name, and everybody gets their own page. You can see like dates and what what we've been up to, and what kind of advice maybe and stuff like that. So I can try to keep track of everybody. So that's a big thing, right? Is I'm going to check on you like, hey, dear Ruth, why haven't I heard from you in a while? What, like, do you need some more help? Are you stuck? Or, do you need a kick in the pants? Like, what do you need? And then another benefit of being one of my interns is that we meet for Zooms weekly. So kind of like a similar conversation to like what we're having now. It's an open Q&A. I usually started off with some kind of concepts, because oftentimes there's stuff on my mind anyway. So yeah, I just share that with the group around horsemanship, and a lot of it ends up getting steered a little bit towards personal growth, because we all know that if we can't get this right, we can't be right for our horses. So we meet weekly for that. That happens every week, once a week, usually for about an hour. And then you also, for now, I might have to change the criteria a little bit, but for now you get unlimited video coaching. So you can send me video as much as you want. You can send me video as much as you want. I just asked that you send it to me in 10-minute chunks or less, because I have, rural satellite internet, and it just takes forever to download it. And then what I do is I do a voiceover coaching. So, I watch it and I tell you as it's happening, it records it. And I can like stop and back it up and slow-mo and point at things and circle things and, all that good stuff. And then I'll re-upload it and send you a link back. So for me, a lot of people in the program, they're either really keen on the video coaching, and that's like what they do, and they don't really do a lot with, the other thing is there's one more benefit, is our Facebook group. So we have an exclusive Facebook group that I contribute a lot of information to. There's a section, it's called guides, in the Facebook groups. When you delineate that your group is for education, it gives you an opportunity to create guides. So one of my guides is about my horsemanship journey. So I'll share video of all of my horses, stuff that we're working on. And when I get excited about something, like, hey, check it out. And then there is a guide that, so like if you signed up today, there's a guide that has all of our Zooms recordings from the whole year. So you could go back and, watch or listen to any of them from the entire year. And then there's a Zoom on training tips, like, not just about my horsemanship, but videos that I created just to give you guys, the interns, ideas, things to work on, something to consider. And then I just started creating a new guide that is the video coaching, right? So, every once in a while I'll coach a video and go, oh, you know what, I bet there's a ton of people that's what they're working on too. And then I'll ask you, I don't just post it like, hey, is it okay with you? And it's perfectly okay if it's not everybody would want that. But for everyone who agrees, then I post the students, the other people's videos in that guide. So that's all going to accumulate. And so, when I started again next year, I'll leave it there. right? So what I'd done with Sidekicks was, I archived those Facebook groups and didn't add to it in future Sidekick trainings. So, but with Interns, it's going to stay, and I'll just keep adding to it, and the library will just grow and grow.
When you do the Zoom meetings, do you have a specific lesson that you're teaching? Like, for instance, module 1 with Linda, you would say, hey, I want to talk about this, or anything like that?
No, our Zooms are pretty just mostly open Q&A, and a lot of it just pops up based on what I'm going through with my horses, or what somebody else in the group brings up, that sort of stuff. I try not to be too like pushy about Linda's program. I obviously believe in it wholeheartedly, and I hope everybody gets it. But I want people to know that that's not 100% necessary. It's beneficial, but it's not necessary in order for me to be able to help you. So I try not to rely too heavily on that.
But
No, go ahead.
But is that a possibility, Kristi, Marie here? If there were a group of us that wanted to get together and do Linda's program, but needed some coaching or some structure to kind of go through the program, is that a possibility that you could help with that?
Yeah, you could join Internet Interns, and that would be something that we could include in the coaching for sure. Sure, no problem. You betcha.
Now, in order to get, somebody asked me this, in order to get Linda's program, do you have to be a member of Happy Horse, Happy Life?
Yeah, you do for now.
Okay.
You do for now. And so I think what's important to remember for everyone, I know it's a big investment. I totally get it. It's tough times with the pandemic and all the craziness in the world right now. And, a lot of people want to compare it to the Savvy Club. And what's important to remember is every single one of those programs that are in the Savvy Club at one time were being sold separate from the Savvy Club. Right. And it was only until they've recovered, the production costs, that then it becomes, part of the benefit of the basic, membership or whatever. And, that's just the way the world works, right? Like they have like over $300,000 invested in production, and that's a lot of $20 a month to try to, dig themselves out of that hole. And for me, it's 100% totally worth the money. It's been really wildly beneficial. And another option, if people are not ready to make that big of a commitment, is you can sign up at the achiever level. So there's the base level. I forget what that's called. I'm sure it has some fun, good sounding name, but I forget what it's called. But the next level up from that is the achiever level. And with the achiever level, you get the access to the curriculum. So you could try it for a month, and so the achiever level costs $99 for the month. You get the regular membership stuff. So everything that's on the website already, all the Learn with Linda's and the training tips and the stuff that the instructors are contributing and all of that stuff. And then you also get access to the curriculum. You get a bunch of swag. I think you get like a visor and a mug and something else, I think. And I think you even get like 1 or 2 of the manuals that have already been put out, like the 52 challenges and the 101 tips from instructors. You'll get a bunch of,
that's a deal,
physical things too, some swag for that month. And then at the end of the month, if you decide that, it's not, worth keeping, you just can either cancel or, go back to the $20 a month version. But yes, you do have to be a member to get access right now.
Well, and we were really disappointed that you couldn't come because of that pandemic. It was going to be at my place. And we finally just had to bite the bullet and make the decision because of the situation. But those are the kinds of things, if, we're trying to get instructors here and we're trying to put clinics on, and then, like today it's 107 degrees, and, trying to figure out how to make this work on a consistent basis.
Marie wants to cover the arena.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Can I have one too?
Yeah.
I think that's actually, any instructor would tell you, right, that those kinds of challenges really make what we do very difficult sometimes. And, last year for people like myself, whose business is primarily traveling, that hurt, every time. I mean, of course you had to cancel, like, what are you going to do? You're not allowed to gather, like you have to do the responsible thing or whatever, follow the rules. But that's what I'm loving about the internet interns, is that I'm not, we're not narrowed to just a certain weekend or a certain dates. Like, okay, I like it also too, because it's very individualized. My support of you will be to you directly, not to a group. And so I don't have to try to do the most for the many. I'll do the most for each individual. And you guys, I think it's still motivating because we meet in groups for our Zooms and things like that. Hi, Diana. But I'm less handcuffed by weather and all the other external circumstances that we don't really have any control over. Especially if you give me the whole year, then okay, you've got a week or 10 days or something in there where the weather's not cooperating, or you have some personal life stuff going on or whatever. And you just let me know that. You don't have to give me details or whatever. Like, yep, I'm going to be out of commission for a little bit. I'll make a little note of it. And then when your time's up, I'm going to check on you again. Like, hey, all right, are we going to get back to doing horsey things? So.
Well, we'll need to talk about.
I love coaching in person, but I'm really finding the internet interns to be a really satisfying way to actually make progress with people, and not just like make them feel good for a weekend.
Right. Well, it'd be nice to get people into your program and then have you come visit as well. But
yeah, that's a really fun one.
Video coaching is fabulous, but I find when I watch myself video coaching, I'm like, I can't send that. Right. You're just too judgmental. Right.
Right. But we need to let go of that in order to be coachable. Right. It is, there is a barrier there, and some of it can be technology. Most of us live places where the internet's not super great. Right. All of those things can be frustrations, but it really comes down to, Ruth, your willingness to be vulnerable as a learner, right? That there's, in order for any of us to make progress, I could send video to Linda for coaching anytime I wanted. Do you think I send it to her very regularly? No, I have the same feelings that you do. Like, oh, I want it to look kind of good before I send it. So I completely get where you're coming from, but for me, the tool that I use now is called a Pivo. I've spent big money on, like, I have a solo shot. I should sell that thing. It's around here somewhere. And the solo Pivo? Shot, not very much. Pivo. Oh, I love the Pivo. So the solo shot's really clumsy and big and takes several minutes to get it set up. And it's super like glitchy. Some days it works good and some days it doesn't. And it runs off satellites. That's how it figures out where you're at. You wear this thing on your arm, and that's how it tracks you, is through a satellite signal. So on cloudy days, it's not that great. And depending on the positions of the satellite, anyway, lots of things that make it not so great. Where the Pivo is just holds your phone, right? It's an app on your phone, and so then it connects with your phone via Bluetooth. And the technology for Pivo is that they've programmed it to recognize the shape of a horse. So you don't have to wear a tracker and things like that. Now, is it perfect for every situation? No. If there are multiple horses in the arena, it's going to track whatever horse goes by it, is closest to it. So, if you have study buddies, or if you can't often get the arena to yourself, that can be a bummer. If your horse is the same color as the background, it sometimes loses you too. Like, one of the ladies that's studying with me has a beautiful bay horse, and their indoor has these gorgeous wood paneling. for the walls. And so the Pivo often loses him because he kind of blends into the color of the wall. And like in the wintertime when there was snow on my arena and I try to play with Gina, who's gray, it would lose her in the snow sometimes too. So like positioning it in the right spot and lighting and all that stuff can have an effect on it. But I get, good feedback video every time I ride. Like I can watch stuff back and go, oh, that's not what I thought I was doing. Note to self, let me, make adjustments. Or a lot of times actually I watch it back and I go, that's better than I thought it was. I was being too critical. So, and then it's, it's already on your phone. So, if I wanted to share it via social media or put it in a YouTube link or whatever, I just open that app and you can upload it, right there, where on the solo shot, it's on a little mini SD card. And you got to figure out what kind of adapter do you need for the computer you're using or for your phone or whatever. And it's just a lot of extra steps, but the Pivo works really, I would say 85% of the time, I'm super happy with it. There's days where it's like, I don't know what's happening. The stars don't line up. It's in a bad mood. I don't know. I just chalk it up to a bad Pivo day, but it's getting more and more rare that I don't have a good day with it. The people who created it have really great customer service. There's a Facebook group specifically for people who are using the Pivo for horse things. And if you get on there and tell them you have a problem, somebody from Pivo will be there with a solution pretty quick. But, it comes back to what you said already, Ruth, about, not liking to, watch the messy stuff. It's important for us for life, any skill we want to gain, we have to be willing to keep trying until we figure it out, versus giving up after 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 or 5, perceived failures. If we give up that quickly and that easily, then you're probably not going to figure stuff out with your horse either. So I think a lot of it's just being willing to keep experimenting and making little adjustments as you go and trying new things.
Well, I like the idea of Linda's program because connection is the goal. It's not the circling game. It's connection. So now we know what we're trying to achieve, and you either have it or you don't have it. So you send the video.
It comes and goes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I really like that idea. So, okay. Do you have any, Diane, I'm sorry you missed. Everybody nobody came. It was just me and Marie and Lily. Lily's on board, but she's got her video closed out.
I remembered it earlier, but then I got busy doing something. So.
It's okay. I recorded it. So
good.
Yeah, I'll send it you guys so you can see it.
Okay.
Anyway, so one of the main things about this meeting too, the happy horse, but also talking to you about having you come. So I know that is your fee still the same, or have you upped it? Because you have upped it. No, you haven't.
No, I haven't upped it. No, I haven't upped it. It's still the same. It's $150 a day per rider with, a 6 rider minimum, but an ideal rider number would be 10.
Okay. And then you want all the arena fees and everything else separate from that. That's what Sherry said. She says, this is the price for the riding. Everything else should be separate.
Yeah, because I think that a lot of people don't know what costs what when they sign up for clinics, and they think that the fee that they pay all goes to the clinician, and that it leaves them with a certain feeling about that. And so I think it's important that they understand like how much of the money is going to the clinician and how much is going to the facilities and that sort of thing. But I also give all of the auditor's fees to the organizer. So I know that a lot of people, you pay for some, toiletries or bottles of water, and I don't want it to cost the organizer anything. And then my thought has been like, if an organizer got real enthusiastic, maybe you could get 20 to 30 people to come audit, maybe actually make a little money on it. And, today's auditor is next year's rider. So
Right.
it hasn't really worked out as well as I thought it would that way, but that's still my policy, is that all the auditor's fees go to the organizer.
Yeah, it's challenging to book clinics. And, one of the things I guess I feel strongly about is when a clinician comes, they lose 2 days of work, right? The day they travel and the day they leave. And a lot of times I try to share with people, hey, they're really investing a lot of time to be here. So, I love instructors. I love the Parelli instructors. I want to support them. But it's tough being an instructor.
It is.
Hug you. Right.
Thanks.
It is hard.
Thank
It's very
you.
hard.
Yeah, it is. It is there's lots of great stuff about it too. I get to play with horses. That's my job. Like, that's awesome. Without having to be a horse trainer, which is harder, I think, than being a clinician. But yes, the travel is, some of the hardest stuff. It's not just, my time, but then, I have to get somebody to take care of my horses here, and I have 3 dogs in the house. And yeah, I'm married and my husband helps me with all of those things, but that's still then, sort of wear and tear on partnerships and things like that. So, and then I think the other thing that's important for people to think about in terms of fees and what it costs is there's a difference between what something costs and the value of something. And, any instructor that does anything, whether it's Parelli or Happy Horse or, all of those things, have invested years of their lives, made sacrifices. I have missed, weddings, funerals, graduations, and birthdays, and, spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on my own education to gain the experience and knowledge and understanding to feel qualified to help you. And, all of my colleagues would have similar stories. So, I think that, oftentimes if we could direct the conversation from cost to the value of, then we might have a little bit different perspective on it. But it's definitely not a get rich quick industry. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Right. Lily, you want to be an instructor one day, don't you?
Hopefully.
You're
good.
Are you going to Pagosa?
Yeah.
In July?
Oh, congratulations. Yeah. Cool. Super. That'll be great.
Yeah.
That's good. Well done. Yeah, it's a satisfying career choice for sure. It's a lot of personal accountability and things like that, but I sure would take it over anything in indoors, period.
Yes.
Anything behind a desk or on somebody else's, I don't want to spend my life supporting someone else's dream. I want my life to be about my dreams.
Right.
Well, unless it's about horses. If your dream is about horses, then I want to support your dream.
Right. All righty. Does anybody want to ask Kristi any questions before we sign off? If you missed anything, we have the recording, but she covered the Happy Horse, Happy Life program and a little bit about her intern program, but you didn't tell us how much that was, the intern program.
Right. So the cost of the value of the internet intern program is $100 a month. And if you make the commitment for the whole year and pay for the whole rest of the year up front, I usually am able to take 1 month off. So if you signed up in July, what is that? July, August, September, October, November. So 6 months left. I'd sell it for $500. So some benefits to making the commitment. I try to make it as keep guiding you towards being able to keep you for as long as possible. But yeah, that's the $100 a month.
Okay. All right, Audie.
All
Awesome.
right.
Thank you so much, Kristi.
Thanks, Kristi.
You were awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thanks, Lily. Good luck this summer. Have fun in Pagosa. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, me too, Lily. Bye, you guys.